Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Okay, so there's something pretty serious that I need to address over here today. And I feel like I just need to come clean about it. And I don't really know even how to get into this or how to address it. So anyway, let's just get into it. I was on Facebook the other day, and I was just minding my own business, scrolling through Facebook, when I saw something, and I have to admit and get honest about the fact that I have become obsessed and fallen down the rabbit hole of this Facebook group account, I don't know, that is called Are We Dating the Same Person? And the one that caught my interest says, been talking to him for a while. He's in an Offspring cover band. Is he in anyone else's inbox? When I tell you, as a true crime lover, that I spent the next hour of my life reading the comments, okay? The people dragging this gal, telling her, baby, ain't nobody else in this dude's inbox, okay? He ain't in nobody is wanting to date this dude. And then, okay, I'm cross-referencing people that say, oh, he kind of looks familiar to me. I think he might have been in my inbox. And then they're going at it, and these women are fighting over this guy that's in this Offspring cover band. And then I go to the group, and it's just one post after another. So I have to get honest with you and say that, like, you know, I know that many of you spend hours on TikTok or Instagram Reels, and I have fallen down the rabbit hole of the Facebook group, Are We Dating the Same Guy? And I have to get honest about it. I did, because I feel so bad about it. Okay, now we can get back to our regularly scheduled performance. Is that what we say? No, a regularly scheduled, what is it? Show? What is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Regularly scheduled. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, we're getting back to drama class. drama class. Hey, you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast. I'm an Offspring cover band. Peekaboo, I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available. Christmas 2025. I'm kind of ready for Christmas. I am. I'm kind of missing Christmas. I have to tell you a story, okay? Well, should I get done with the intro first? Okay. Christmas 2025, the album. Dad, we shimmy to the left and we shimmy to the right. We shimmy to the front and we shimmy to the back. The album. This is serious business. Dad, shimmy, shimmy. F. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, na na na, just like the one I used to know. Peace. Now, let me tell you my Christmas story. Y'all ready for it? Okay, so my friend Nikki and I. Hey, Nikki, how are you? Oh, Nikki, you're so fun. You're so fun. You blow my mind. Hey, Nikki. Hey, Nikki. Okay. Oh, that works really well because it's almost like, oh, Mickey. Oh, Mickey, you're so fun. You're so fun. You blow my mind. Hey, Nikki. A little trick with Peter. Peter, Bo Beater, banana, fana, faux feeder, me, my, mo meter, Peter. Okay, so anyway. My friend Nikki and I, if you follow my other channels, you already know this, okay? But we read these Advent calendar Christmas thrillers, okay? Oh my God, it was so fun. When I started it, I was like, this is going to be so cheesy, but I don't really care. And so we read these two books, okay? One was called 25 Days by Per Jacobson. I've now read another one of his books that's called Dry. It's about all the oceans dry up. But anyway, 25 Days was about this family that goes and stays in this cabin in the woods, and the serial killer's trying to kill him, okay? And it's told from, he says at the very end, the author's note, how difficult it was to write from 4 different people's points of view. But anyway, so He does in the book. I just want to give him credit where credit's due, you know? So anyway, the book was 25 days. So it's like day 1, day 2, and it counts down to Christmas. So you read a chapter a day, okay? And it's about this family, and they're staying in this cabin in the woods. It was so good. If you didn't read it this year and you're a reader, you should read it next year, okay? All the thriller book clubs on Facebook, the psychological book clubs on Facebook, they were all talking about this book. So I was like, I gotta have it, right? So Nikki and I read it, okay? We were also reading this book. Why can't I remember it? The main character's name was Isla. The main character's name was Isla in it. And she and her sister, what was it called? Xmas Break was what it was called. And she and her sister had this falling out, see, because they never really got along. And Mom liked her sister better. They liked Isla better than she liked her sister. So when her mom died, Isla just gave all the money to her sister. I think her sister's name was Beth. I don't remember. But anyway, then the sister, Beth, she invites Isla and her husband out to, you guessed it, a cabin in the woods. Okay, but this one was like a modern cabin that was like all on like a phone and things like that. The other one was not a modern cabin. It had like a barn and it was like out in the woods. Anyway, and then there were like glass windows and the whole thing was like hooked up to their iPhones and stuff like that. And there was a serial killer trying to get them too, okay? So every day you read a chapter of that, down to Christmas. Oh my God, we had so much fun. This one part, Isla, she's kind of like, she's like not the sharpest knife in the drawer. And so Isla, at this one point, okay, Beth's husband comes inside. He's been like knocked upside the head with a cinder block or something like that. He's like literally on death's door, right? And so he comes up to, he comes inside, and he's like, oh my God, I'm about to die. And he falls on the floor. But Isla, she's been making hot chocolate, see, the way her and her mom used to, over the fireplace. Who makes hot chocolate over the fireplace? Nobody. But the whole house, to see it's gone down, because they don't have electricity, so the Apple thing's not hooked up to it anymore, right? So anyway, like the iPhone, it's not hooked up to it. So the only way she can make hot chocolate is like how Mom used to make it over the fireplace, right? So his body is just like bleeding blood out of the head and things like that. And he's like dying, okay? I think his name was Gary or something like that. But anyway, Greg is like dying on the floor. And oh my God, Nikki and I laughed so hard on this. So she's making, she makes 2 cups of coffee. Because now her husband and her sister Beth are outside in the storm trying to find the serial killer that's trying to push him off the side of a mountain, okay? So Isla thinks it's a good time to make hot chocolate. Go figure. So she's like leaning on Greg's body, okay? Not to be confused with Gary Jerry from The Golden Bachelor. But she's leaning on Greg's body, right? Drinking this hot chocolate. And he's like passed out, okay? Like he's unconscious, dying, right? And she's like, I should probably try to get a hold of police. I think you'll be okay. Do you want some hot chocolate? Mama always said hot chocolate fixes everything. Nikki and I would die laughing, talking on the phone about these books, okay? Now, 25 days was actually pretty good. But anyway, Xmas Break was shit. But anyway, so every night, we would text each other and we'd be like, don't forget to read your chapters. Okay, so recently, we agreed that we were going to read Per Jacobson. See, he wrote the book 25 Days. We are going to read these Advent calendar books. Next year, I'm going to tell you there's going to be 30 of them because they did so well this year. So, and I can't wait to read all of them next year. I can't, okay? But anyway, so Per Jacobson, he has a lot of, he's like a self-published book, author, and he put this book out called Dry. So I bought it, and I told Nikki she should buy it, too, or she should read it too. So we were going to read it together. I finished it and she didn't even start it, okay? Because that's what a friend really does. They don't keep up with their promises, Nikki, okay? But anyway, so we were talking about how we should, like we missed Christmas books. Like we missed Christmas books so much. I don't really miss Christmas. Like I'm ready for summer, if you wanted the truth, and being by the pool. But like just the feeling and the coziness of Christmas, I do. That's why we still have the plaid Christmas comforter on our bed, right? So anyway, I kind of miss and it's still cold here some nights, right? So I kind of miss the coziness of Christmas. And Nikki goes, well, what we could do is we could do Christmas in July. And I go, what do you mean? And she goes, we could read Christmas books in like Christmas thrillers. Because I bought a bunch of Christmas thrillers. I never even listened to them on Audible or anything, you know? So she was like, we could do, I didn't even think I was going to tell this story. This story was not even on my radar. People are like, you script your videos out. How? This wasn't even on my radar. This wasn't even on my radar. So anyway, so Nikki and I in July, we're going to read Christmas books. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be so much fun. So anyway, what was I telling you about? Oh, I've fallen down the rabbit hole of this thing. I wish I could show you guys this picture, and then you'd be like, because people are like, he looks like Jim Carrey in that movie, The Mask. Okay, that's exactly what he looks like. I'm staring at it right here. Here, I can't really show you his face. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But the comments, if you want to laugh your ass off, go to the Facebook group. It's called Hold on a second. Are we dating the same guy? It is hilarious. It is hilarious. Okay, so let's get into what this video is about, which is really about nothing. So I actually was kind of surprised. I put up 2 Instagram stories like a week ago. Well, when did I put it up? Okay, March 11th. I put up 2. The first one says, give me a song, a movie, a TV show, a nostalgic toy, or anything from the past 50 years, because I'm 52. And I'm going to make a video with a story just based off that one thing. Go. Okay? Then the other thing I was like, ask me your opinion about influencers, any influencers or pop culture people that you want to know. I'll do that video later. But anyway, my idea for this was, I thought somebody would say something like, I don't know, like Little House on the Prairie. And then I would tell like a cute little funny story about how my mom and I used to watch Little House on the Prairie every night and whatever. And so I thought, if you guys just put things out there that I didn't even really know what to expect, it would kind of just trigger a memory for me, right? So I went through here, through like probably the first 30, and so many people asked me about the Furby. Okay, so I looked it up. Let me get in here real quick. I looked up, now I was born in 1972. I looked up, when did the Furby come out, okay? And it came out in 1998. Okay, now, so at that point, I would have been 26 years old, all right? Now, I got sober in 1994, so in 1998, my focus was not on the Furby, okay? I appreciate y'all thinking I was a little bit younger than I am, but I was not into the Furby. I was not. I don't know about the Furby. I don't know her, okay? I don't know about the Furby, but for all the people out there, because so many people ask me about a memory that I have with the Furby. I don't have any memory. I remember maybe seeing like a commercial and thinking it looked like a gremlin, and then, I don't know, like, you know, like lighting a cigarette or something. I don't really remember. I don't know nothing about the Furby, okay? I don't. But I went through here. I didn't go through all of them, but I went through like the first 20. So I thought that I would go back and I would start at the end of these, so the ones that I haven't read, and I would just kind of like read the memories that you guys gave me. I don't edit, we know that, right? And then if I, like, I'm gonna, like, skip over some of them if I don't, like, know what they are, they don't have any memory attached to them. But if I come upon one, if I come apron, oh my God, I love aprons so much. Funny aprons. But if I come upon one that makes, like, sparks an image or a memory for me, then we're gonna address it. Okay. So the first one, oh, Matt sent me this one. Hey, Matt, how are you? Matt said Gypsy. So I'm assuming you're talking about the Fleetwood Mac song. Okay, I actually do have a story, and this is a YouTube story about this, okay? Because a couple people have asked me about Gypsy and, like, what's your favorite? They're like, you don't ever, like, mention Gypsy as your favorite Fleetwood Mac song and things like this. I actually think I talked about this a while ago. So Stevie Nicks, my favorite song, and it was so funny because I was talking about it in a video not too long ago, and I said in a video that the album that it was on Belladonna when it's not on Belladonna. Anyway, so I said my favorite song was Nightbird, and I said it was on Belladonna. It's not on Belladonna. But anyway, somebody corrected me in the comment section below. I was like, fake fan. No. Anyway, I thought it was on Belladonna, and then I went down, and I have the album downstairs and everything. It's like purple and whatever. And I was like, oh, sure shit, it's not on Belladonna. I guess I could have just Googled it. But I love Fleetwood Mac as much as I love Stevie Nicks as a solo artist, okay? Gypsy is probably my all-time favorite Fleetwood Mac song of life, okay? My absolute favorite song of Fleetwood Mac of life. And probably of my Stevie Nicks songs is probably in my top 3. Like, my favorite Stevie Nicks songs, well, I mean, I've got so many. I don't know really, I mean, like, I love Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, Nightbird by Stevie Nicks, so many Stevie Nicks ones, Stand Back, I love. I mean, there's just Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. I mean, all the main ones I love, and then there's a lot of smaller ones that I love as well. But, I mean, their whole repertoire, I know, right? The reason I don't sing it in videos is this, and the live version of Gypsy is probably my favorite version ever of Gypsy. I don't remember what concert it is. You know what? I could actually just probably look it up really quick. Let's look it up. Let's look up Gypsy, because I have it in here. Songs, Gypsy. I will tell you what live album it's from. Hold on just a second. I probably have like 5 versions of it in here. Okay. Gypsy, Live at the Forum. Let's look up title, view credits. Okay. Live at the Forum, Los Angeles, California, October 21st and 22nd, 1982. I would have been 10 years old. So that is my absolute favorite version of Gypsy. The reason that, and the last time I said this on here, people corrected me and they said that's not true. But I tried to be respectful and do the right thing, okay? And so the last time that I, like, sang it was actually years ago in a video. Well, I don't know if I sang it the time that I addressed it. I might have. But the time that I stopped, I sang it, like, innocently in a video. I try to, like, I don't really, to be honest with you, do this as much anymore, but, like, if I sing a song in a video, like, I try to check first, like, am I, like, singing somebody that's extremely problematic? Like, I'll be honest for you, fucking R. Kelly ruined Step in the Name of Love for me, okay? I love that song, Step in the Name of Love. It's probably one of my favorite, I know the dance, my friends and I used to do that. I love that song so much, okay? Fuck you, R. Kelly. Fuck you in your disgusting ways, because I can't sing the song in my videos because of R. Kelly, right? Which somebody told me that all the proceeds from his songs actually go to the victims. I did not know that, but I'm still not going to sing a song in my video. But anyway, so years and years and years ago, I sang Gypsy in video. I think it was one video I sang it in. I mean, this is like my first year. And somebody said I shouldn't sing that song because it's disrespectful to homeless people. I believe in Romania, because they said that the word gypsy is like a derogatory word for homeless people, and I believe it was like Romania. I don't know. But anyway, so after that, I just was like, okay, well, I won't sing it in videos anymore because I wanted to be respectful. I think those are some of the things that people don't see, like behind the scenes. People are always like, he's doing this. I am like trying to be so careful about that stuff, you know, to be respectful of people. So I love the song Gypsy. Gypsy is probably my favorite. Landslide or Gypsy is probably my favorite Fleetwood Mac song of life, in all honesty. It's definitely my top 3, but I love Gypsy. I mean, every time it comes on, I'm just like, oh my god, I love that song. Oh, Mel, my book club partner, she asked me Light Bright. It's funny, I did play with Light Bright when I was a kid. You know, is Light Bright a thing? Do they still have them? I loved them. You put the papers on it, and then it had like the drawings, and then you'd stick the things into it, and then you'd step on it oh my god! You'd step on, I know the cats just went running, but you'd step on one of those pegs in the Light Bright, you know, at like 3 o'clock in the morning, with like tablets and shit like that. Do kids even play on the Light Brights anymore? I don't know, but I love the Light Brights back in the day. All of them. I shouldn't say them now, because if I start saying them, then it'll be like people ask me questions about it. But the things I loved when I was a kid, like games-wise and stuff like that, like Lincoln Logs, and we talk about how boring that is. Building a log cabin, and you never got to a log cabin. You did? Do you have a fountain pop? Because I do. You don't. Can I just tell you one of the things that is so unnerving? Okay, I don't leave the house a whole lot, right? So, I don't get as many fountain pops as I used to. Do you know what they do now? I know when I say this, people will be like, oh my god, that's not a new thing, Peter. That happened like a year ago. Okay, well, I don't know. This is at the Speedway. I went to the Speedway today. Anyway, they scan your fountain pop now. It's not just 89 cents, they scan it. I'm like, what is going on? I mean, I noticed this like 3 weeks ago, but now they scan your fountain pop at every place you go. Anyway, Lincoln Logs. You know, I build a wall, and then I get bored of it. My mom would always call them. Was it my mom or they'd say they look like little dog turds sitting on the floor, those Lincoln Logs. The game Operation, but the only reason that you ever played Operation was so that that's the only reason you ever played it. But, yeah, I love Light Brights back in the day. Zachary Michael, he's one of the people that asked me about Furbies. Well, Zach, you're a little younger than me, so I was adulting when the Furbies came out. Okay. Fievel Goes West. I remember that movie coming out. I remember it coming out. Was there an original one? The American Tale? Is that the same movie? Anyway, I remember them coming out, but I'll tell you what I do remember is, you know, I mean the clubs. I remember the song by Pet Shop Boys, Go West, da 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 da, Go West. You remember that song? I don't give a fuck about Fievel Goes West. I don't know her. I don't think I ever watched that movie. I didn't watch the other one too. Alf. Okay, Alf I always thought was isn't Alf like a spinoff in another show, and then Alf is like the creature? I never really watched it. I didn't really get it. I thought it was like so weird. And then years later, wasn't there like the guy that wrote the book, it's called like something Midnight or something? What is it? And he's like an addict, and he was like withdrawing and during like the riots and stuff like that, and then he was the one that came up with the whole concept of Alf and whatever. I didn't watch that show. I watched Mork and Mindy. Is that kind of the same? I didn't watch Alf a whole lot at all. I mean, I saw it if I was flipping through the channels when we actually used to flip through the channels. I would flip through the channels on Alf. But oh my god, where's the beef? Okay, where's the beef? This is so funny that I didn't see that somebody had asked me this. Okay, where's the beef is from Wendy's. Wendy's, the restaurant. And so they had this old lady on there. I can't remember what her name is, but she'd go, "Where's the beef?" It was like this ad. What's so funny about it is, okay, I mean, it's funny now. I mean, it was funny then, but it's kind of funny now in a different kind of way. So for those of you that follow my channels, you've heard me talk about my grandma, my mom's mom, okay? So my grandma, I found out after my mom passed away, had gone to prison, all right, for multiple things. Money laundering. She was an OG, baby. She was an OG, okay? Money laundering and all kinds of things. So anyway, so my grandma, she looked just like this woman. So my grandfather, my mom's dad, died when my mom was 4. They say, I don't know if it's an old wives' tale, I don't know what that saying is, okay? But they say that my grandma's hair turned white overnight. That when my grandfather died, the next day she woke up, she had like black hair, the next day she woke up and her hair was white. I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, okay, so that they said that, but I always remember that because my hair turns like salt and pepper when I was like 23, and they say you get your hair from your mom, okay, or your mom's side of the family. But what's so weird about that is that my grandma, okay, they used to always say, people would be like, they'd stop her on the street and they thought she was the Where's the Beef person. No, they did. They thought she looked just like her, the Where's the Beef woman. People thought she looked like her all the time. Isn't that so funny? Somebody else asked me about Light Bright. They said, this Shannon, hey Shannon, said was my favorite toy as a kid. Until you stepped on him at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, those pegs. Captain Kangaroo. You know, I loved Captain Kangaroo as a kid. I watched Captain Kangaroo a lot when I was a little kid. But the thing about Captain Kangaroo, looking back on him now, look at his hairdo. What's that hairdo that Captain Kangaroo's got going on? That hairdo, it freaks me out a little bit. But I watched Captain Kangaroo, and Mr. Rogers was kind of my jam back in the day. I loved Mr. Rogers. He just feels so peaceful and calm and things like that, you know? Oh my God, somebody else asked me about the Furby. Dawn! Okay, somebody said, I haven't read any of these. Somebody said the best 80s movies, Cloak and Dagger, License to Drive, and Labyrinth. Okay, so Cloak and Dagger is probably one of like my all-time favorite movies. I don't think I've ever even talked about this because I've never been asked about it. So Cloak and Dagger, what's the guy in it? Well, I can't think of his name. Anyway, I feel like he just passed away recently. It's from the kid from E.T. is in it. And he's friends with this girl. And they are doing like, they've got these secrets on this computer game that they're playing. And they're working with this guy that, like, owns a computer store and works at a computer store. I think it takes place in San Antonio, Texas, because they're going, like, around, like, the Riverwalk and stuff like that, if I remember it correctly. Anyway, I want to say, who is the guy that's in it? Why can't I think of his name? The guy that was in 9 to 5, that played the boss in 9 to 5, Dabney Coleman. He's in it, too. He plays the dad. And so, it's this kid and this girl, his friend, and they're like probably 8 or 9 at the time, and they're like running like all over the place, and people are trying to chase them and kill them and stuff like that. I love that movie, Cloak and Dagger, so much. Thank you for asking me about that. License to Drive, I believe, was with the, what are their names? Corey Feldman and Corey, why can't I think of his name? Corey Feldman is the one that was in Goonies. Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, okay, who I was obsessed with when I was younger. So, License to Drive, I've seen, of course, is notoriously bad. Labyrinth, I've never seen the movie Labyrinth, ever. I don't like fantasy stuff. I didn't like it then. I think the only one, and somebody, I think, asked me about this Never-Ending Story. I only like the Never-Ending Story, the parts where the kid that's being bullied is reading the book and he's hiding out, like, in the attic. That's the only part of the Never-Ending Story that I like. The dog and all that shit, I don't understand none of that stuff, okay? But when the kid is, like, eating snacks that he's got from lunch and he's reading that big book, like, I love that part of it. Okay, but the rest of it, I don't really understand it. But anyway, so Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, it's so funny because, like, they're people that I used to, like, they were best friends in movies a lot. Okay, so years and years and years ago, there was like this, I don't know what it was, but Corey Feldman came to Indianapolis. I believe it was after Corey Haim passed away. It must have been. But it was like one of the first years that my husband and I dated. So we have this friend of ours. She's very, very wealthy. She doesn't live in Indianapolis anymore. And so wherever we would go, she would just book out, like, not just a VIP section, but like 4 VIP sections. And so we were sitting there, and this bar was completely, like, packed, right? And so this person that we knew was, like, supposed to be the host of Corey Feldman that night, right? Well, my friend, this girl, she didn't know who the fuck Corey Feldman was. She don't care about Corey Feldman. She don't know about him, okay? So Corey like, they, like, texted my husband, and he's like, do you care if these people come? And she's like, no, they can come and blah, blah, whatever. And so So anyway, so they come in, okay, and they sit, like, on this, like, couch with us and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I'm sitting right next to Corey Feldman, okay? I don't know about him in the last, you know, whatever, years or whatever, but, like, he was so weird this night. I mean, he was so weird. He had, like, the Michael Jackson glove on. He had the leather jacket. He had sunglasses on. It was, like, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was so weird, okay? I think I have a picture with him somewhere where we're, like, sitting there, and I'm like, and he's like, it's weird, okay? And so, I mean, I met Adam Lambert, my husband and I met. Britney Spears, I danced on stage with, because one of Alex's really good friends did 2 or 3 world tours, did all of the hair and makeup for her and the dancers. So anyway, it's kind of interesting when you meet these people, like, what they're really like. Britney Spears was actually very, very nice, but I'm not supposed to say that, because we signed an NDA to say that we couldn't say that we met her. But anyway, she was actually very smart and kind of on it. So anyway, and that whole experience was something else. But Adam Lambert was just wonderful. And when we met him, he had on, like, it was before he went on stage, he had, like, sweatpants on and, like, a t-shirt. And he's real tall. I didn't realize that. He wasn't done up. He didn't have a lot of makeup on. And he was super good looking. I never thought he was good looking before. But when we saw him in person, I was like, damn, he is good looking. He's a really, really good looking guy. Very, very nice. Very, like, loved his fans. I mean, we just, like, kind of got to meet him through some people we knew that worked at the radio station. But, like, his fans were there. I mean, they were, like, they knew every word. They were dressed like him. He was so nice to his fans. So anyway, Corey Feldman, I'm sitting, like, right next to Corey Feldman, okay? And at one point, I said something to him, like, he's not talking. And you could tell he's real uncomfortable. Like, he didn't even really want to be there, but they felt like they should entertain him. And so I said something to him, and my friend's like, she's like leaning down, like listening. Like, the couch is like this. I'm sitting like here, Corey Feldman's here. She's like over here, and like Alex is like talking to all these people. So she's like listening. My friend this girl is hilarious, okay? And so I said to him, I mean, what do you say when Corey Feldman's sitting next to you? I'm starstruck. I'm one of those people that get starstruck, right? And so I look at him, and he's kind of like, at one point, kind of like looks up at me, and I said, I really loved you in Goonies. And I didn't know what to say, right? And it's been so long, I don't remember exactly how it went. And I go, and he was like, thanks, or something like that. And she goes, wait. I can't remember how this happened. She goes, you're the guy that was in Goonies? And he just kind of like looked at her, and like the whole place stopped. She goes, you're the guy that was friends with Michael Jackson? And it just like exploded after that. It was so weird. It was the weirdest thing. But anyway, I kind of miss that friendship. Like, that's a friendship that nobody really talks about since Corey Haim has passed away. But anyway, by the way, his name is pronounced Haim, not Haim. I know some people get that confused. But anyway, I don't know how, when everybody in the world knew it was Corey Haim. But anyway, okay, somebody asked me, Steel Magnolias. I just love everything about that movie that looks like an... Okay, I love Steel Magnolias so much. Now, I do have a personal story about Steel Magnolias. So, one of my mom and dad's, my aunt and uncles, like one of their close friends, she used to live in Indiana, and then she got divorced and got remarried, and like before I was born. And she lived in Illinois, okay, or in Chicago, outside of Chicago. She lived in Hinsdale, then Oak Park. Now they have a place in downtown Chicago. But they also have a place in Park City, Utah. And they have like a house on the mountain. And so we would go out there and we would ski with her when I was growing up. And so when I was like out there skiing one time, when you go on the ski lift, so I used to ski a lot. I was like an avid skier when I was growing up. My dad, my stepmom are avid skiers. And so we would go out there and visit the family friend. And we would stay with her, and we would go skiing on the mountain and stuff like that. So this woman and I, it's like a family friend, she and I were sitting on a chairlift. You know, sometimes they're like 20 minutes up there with this woman. And she asked us about Steel Magnolias because it had just come out. This woman, I have no idea who she was, but Steel Magnolias was, unless she was completely lying to us, was filmed in her house. And she talked about how, like, a scouting crew came around, and their house was, like, perfect for it. And so they got to be, like, on set, but they moved them into hotels while they were filming it there. I do not know who that woman is. Oh my God, the battery stopped already? I'm not even into, like, 4 questions. Anyway, if this is fun and you guys like this, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll do more of it, because I literally have, like, 300 of these. But anyway, I should look into that, because I can remember what she looked like and everything. And, but it's so weird because it's been so many years. Google didn't exist back then. You weren't going to look it up in the Encyclopedia Britannica. But I do remember we got off of it, and my mom's friend said something. She was like, said something like she's a liar or something like that. She's like, that's not true. Which, by the way, that friend of ours, Caroline and I were talking about the other day, reminds us so much of Parker Posey and White Lotus. Like, she reminds us so much of that family friend of ours. So anyway, okay, the last time I saw her was at my Aunt Kathy's funeral. Okay, so somebody asked me, candy cigarettes. Oh my God, the ones that you could puff out the sugar on the powdered sugar on the end of it. I loved it. I loved it. I mean, I wanted to smoke at 4 years old, so of course I loved it. Guess who did not come out till later when I was out, after I was out, but guess who I don't think came out till years later, the memory game thing. But Tanya Jean and I used to play it back in the day. Twister, the movie. I talk about that today because I covered today on my Peter Watches TV channel. For those of you that don't know, I have a TV channel where I talk about, all the TV shows that are out. And last night I watched The Twister Caught in the Storm, and Treehouse. Well, we had a treehouse when I was growing up. I've talked a lot about it on my vlog. The Troll Dolls. I know Troll Dolls more from bingo than I do from when I was growing up in a kid. Because when I would go to play at the bingo hall, okay, which was called Bingo Hall. And if you live in Indianapolis, it was off the Post in Midhofer. We used to go there every Sunday, my ex and I, and play. He would do the pull tabs, and he would win a lot of money. I didn't do the pull tabs. I never had any luck at them. But people really did have, like, the good luck charms out. And they would have the troll dolls out. Sea monkeys. Oh, I've talked about that at length over here. Punky Brewster. Okay, so Punky Brewster is interesting. I did watch that show. Kate and Allie was a little bit more my jam. Did you ever watch Kate and Allie? So my mom was obviously divorced, and her best friend at the time, I would call them Kate and Allie. And so Kate and Allie is about these two divorced women. Jane Curtin played, I think, Allie. Kate, I don't know which one she played. But anyway, I love that show. But Punky Brewster was at that time, too. There's actually a documentary that the actress Soleil Moon Frye, I swear to God that I believe that Soleil Moon Frye is Jaclyn Hill, or they're related somehow, because they look so much alike. But anyway, so Soleil Moon Frye, during that time, she did a documentary, and it came out a couple years ago. I watched it. It's very sad to watch. Soleil Moon Frye documentary. I think it's on like Max or something like that. Here it is, documentary. It's called Kid 90. And it's about all the child actors that were in the movie or in the TV shows at that time. Like Brian Austin Green is in it, the people from Saved by the Bell. And it talks about how they were like this group of people that all hung out together. And she recorded all of it, like the behind the scenes. It's very, very interesting. But it's very sad too. Okay, let's get into doing a couple more of these questions. And then we will maybe resume this later. I'm not even 10 questions deep into this. Okay. The first Monday of summer feeling in elementary school. I don't think that's something with like how we do school today, with like 2 weeks off here and, 2 weeks off there and a shorter summer. I don't think you really can understand what it was like. I mean, Memorial Day was the last day of school always. So whenever Memorial Day was, we didn't go back to school after Memorial Day. And then we didn't start school until, I think, after Labor Day. So it was a good 3 months. I remember what you're talking about. It was like, I don't have to get up for school today. I mean, I can remember that. The thing is, so when I was growing up, I've talked about this on my vlog, but I don't know how much I've talked about it over here. So when I was growing up, I competitively played tennis, was being trained to professionally play tennis. So I did summer camps of tennis. I did massive summer camps. And the one that I did was like conditioning started at like 6:30 or 7 in the morning. And then it lasted till like 9. And then we played from like 9 until like 11. And then I would come home and I would just play with the kids in the neighborhood. So I did that 5 days a week, every summer, always. And went to other camps for tennis and things like that. So I can remember getting up that first one and being like, oh my God. I think it ended like mid-July or something like that. But I can remember because outside in summer it was too hot to play because in Indiana at that time it got to be like 100. But that first Monday knowing that, or that first day that you knew like you didn't have to get up early for school. Oh my God. Summers, I loved summers growing up. I had magical summers growing up. That was back in the day, like we didn't stay inside. I mean, I grew up in a cul-de-sac that had obviously on the street that we lived on, there were a lot of kids my age. I've said this a lot in videos. I don't know if the parents were having conversations with the kids, but nobody bullied me on my street. I was just accepted. And so, I mean, it was fun. We backed up to a woods. Behind my house was a creek. I mean, massive woods. And so we would have mud fights in the woods. We'd build forts. I had a tree house behind my house. We would go through the creek. We would make little areas. It was clay mud in there because it's called Clay Creek. And so we would trap tadpoles. We would turn over rocks and find, crawdads. I mean, we played in the woods. That's what we did as kids. We played baseball in the cul-de-sac. The boys wouldn't let us. Me and my two friends, Jesse and Katie, we walked down the street and we'd go sit in somebody's yard while they were doing yard work. And, they'd say, well, what's wrong? We'd be like, oh, the boys won't let us play. And then, Mrs. Smith or whoever, I'm just making up a name, would be like, do you guys want a cookie? Yeah. And she'd be like, oh, I just made some cookies. She'd come outside. We'd gossip with the ladies in the street. We'd have dinner early. We'd come back outside. We'd play, light as a feather, stiff as a board, and all that kind of stuff. We play those games, Ghost in the Graveyard. We played all that stuff. Summer as a kid, I can remember coming inside, taking a bath, putting my shorty pajamas on, getting in bed, and I would read all these books I got in the library, because when it rains, you go to the library, And so I'd have all these books, and I loved to read, all the scary books, the John Belair's books, like The House with the Clock in Its Walls. I read all those when I was a kid. I loved summer. I loved summer so much. It doesn't hit the same, when you're an adult, does it? But I still love summer. Susie and the Banshees. Okay, Susie and the Banshees is one of my all-time favorite bands from high school. Susie Sue and Susie and the Banshees. I love her so much. And I have a t-shirt. I think I have 2 t-shirts back in the day. But it's funny because she's best known for, what's the movie? Jeepers Creepers. How'd you get those peepers? I need to look in here. What's my favorite song? Why can't I think of the name of it right now? Hold on. Somebody said Spellbound on here. They asked me what I think about that. I like Spellbound. It's not my favorite song. Susie and the Banshees. I think Spellbound is also an album, isn't it? Her name is spelled so weird, isn't it? S-I-O-U-X something E. Okay, hold on. Let's go up here. Susie and the Banshees. What is my favorite song of hers? Why is it not pulling up? Oh, because I'm looking under songs instead of artists. Susie and the Banshees. Okay. Where's she at here? Come on now. Going through my iTunes. Oh, here she is. Susie and the Banshees. Okay. So we've got Peekaboo. And then we've got The Passenger. The Passenger is my favorite song by Susie and the Banshees. I love that song so much. Okay. Let's get to just a couple more questions, and then I will end this for the day. Okay. The best bubble gum you had as a kid. Okay. We chewed a lot of gum. And in fact, we used to, when Poltergeist came out, we would do this thing where we would pull it apart, and we'd go, come to the light, Carol Ann, come to the light, Carol Ann. But anyway, our favorite thing, my favorite gum as a kid was actually the Big Lead bubble gum that came in a pack like chewing tobacco, and you would roll it up and keep it in your pocket. But we did all the Bubblicious, the Hubba Bubba, or whatever that was called. We do all of that. The Big Lead bubble gum, I love that the most. Clue, both the game and the movie classics. I love the game. Played the game a lot as a kid. Always wanted to be Miss Scarlet. The movie I like. I think the movie is really well done. To be based on a game, I think it's great. It reminds me, it reminds me a lot of the movie Murder by Death, which was with Truman Capote. And which is interesting because we watched, my husband and I watched Truman Capote and the Swans, and they actually talk about that. They showed the filming of that movie in there. And I didn't realize how intoxicated he was while he was filming that movie. But Murder by Death is it's hilarious. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. If you like the movie Clue, definitely watch Murder by Death. It's fantastically done. Okay, let's see what somebody else is asking me. School of Rock, the cartoons back in the day that you're talking about. I used to watch those back in the day. They were like my after school. The after school things, so I remember we would have after school TV specials, and they would be film strips turned into on TV, and it would be The Great Gilly Hopkins, which I think they've turned into a movie now, or Bridge to Terabithia. These were all books that I read as a kid. But they would be or The House of the Clock in Its Walls. And it would be an hour, adapted television show. And I can remember watching that on Saturdays and after school. But then they would have, the Schoolhouse Rock things. What's the one that it was an adjective is, an adverb is? You know those? Is that the School of Rock, Schoolhouse Rock? I think that's what those are. Furbies. More people are asking. Oh my God, younger millennial here, but Furby. So many people, if you don't think I know what a Furby is, I definitely, the Tamagotchi thing, that was way after me. Clifford the Big Red Dog. Okay, so Clifford the Big Red Dog, I absolutely loved the books when I was growing up. Little unknown fact that I don't talk a lot about in videos is actually that when I was growing up, I had an Airedale, at my dad's house, and his name was Clifford. And I named him after Clifford the Big Red Dog. And I went and saw a psychic years later. Clifford had passed away, and the psychic said, I see a big red dog on the other side. I believe a lot in psychic mediums. Today, actually, on my Peter Does Stuff channel, I did like these angel cards. I started it off kind of funny, but then I ended up loving them. But anyway, so I went to the psychic one time, and the psychic said to me, that like on like the other side he saw like this big red dog, and I said, you see a big red dog? And he goes, yeah, kind of like the storybook, like Clifford the Big Red Dog. And it was like, I was like, oh my god, that's so crazy. So yeah, he was such a great dog. I loved that dog so much. Matilda the movie, I don't know that I've ever even seen it, to be honest with you. Bonanza, oh my god, Bonanza. Okay, let me tell you a little funny story. It's actually, it's in the last couple years. So my friend Tanya Jean, all right, her brother-in-law that has since passed away that I absolutely adored, he was such a neat guy, he stayed with them for a while. And so when Tanya and I would come back from meetings, Tanya's husband and his brother would be either watching Bonanza or like all them Western type movies, like Old Yeller and stuff like that. And Tanya and I would come in and we'd be like, we want to watch Nancy Grace, turn this shit off. And that's what I always remember about him, because he was so funny. He'd be like, because everybody calls Tanya T. And he'd be like, T, just let us finish this episode of Bonanza. Anyway, Ponderosa, we used to call Ponderosa when I was growing up. 30-something. Okay, I'm going to end with 30-something. Somebody asked me about Tu Wong Fu. I'll go through some of these. Golden Girls, Frasier, I Love Lucy, Poltergeist, Full House, Never Ending Story. Oh, The Slinky, Mork and Mindy. So many people, I got so many of these. If you guys want me to do another one, let me know. But let me end on the 30-something TV show. So a lot of people do cameo requests for me, and cameos are direct messages you can get from me, linked below. Don't feel like you have to, but I appreciate it when people do. But I get a lot for people that are turning 30, okay? And what's funny about that is I tell this stories in the cameo, so I'm going to share it with you guys. So I loved this show, 30-something, when I was growing up as a kid. I don't even know what years it came out. Probably late middle school, high school for me. My mom and I watched 30-something. 30-something was this very adult show about these two friends that owned, like, they worked at the beginning, I think, for this advertising agency. One had real dark hair and the other one had red hair. And they ended up starting their own advertising agency. But then they were married and had kids. And it was, like, very much like, you know, like white picket fence, perfect houses. But then they both get divorced. It's real sad. But anyway, the show is called 30-something, and they have like these very serious architecture jobs, or no, advertising jobs and homes and all this kind of stuff, right? And so when I turned 30, I was like, in my head, I was like, oh my god, like I'm gonna be 30. Well, 30 came and went, and I mean, I'm 52 now, okay? So 30 does not seem old to me now. And, you know, and to be honest with you, 60 doesn't even seem that old to me now. I like embracing as I've gotten older. You know, most of my friends are 60 plus, most of my close friends. And so it's like they're living their best life. And I'm like, and they're 60 plus, you know? But anyway, so, and I'm not afraid of aging either. I think I was when I was younger. But anyway, so when I turned 30, I was like real apprehensive about it. And then 30 came and went. It was like nothing, you know? But 31 came, and it was like a couple days after, and I was like in a gas station. I was waiting in line. And there was this guy that was like 2 in front of me, and he had red hair and a beard, and he looked just like the guy from 30-something. And I was like, oh my god, you're not 30 anymore, you're 30-something. And I was like, and you don't own a home, and you don't work for an advertising agency. You need to get your shit together. And it wasn't shortly after that I had a friend of mine, a sober friend of mine, that said to me, you always lose by comparison. When you compare your life to somebody else's, you always lose by comparison. You're on your own journey. Your life is your own. And he was so right. I'm so grateful that he said that to me. And it wasn't in reference to that story. He just said it to me as one of the greatest lessons he had ever learned. Was that when you compare your life to other people, you lose. There are a lot of people out there that are going to have it a lot better than you. There are going to be hundreds of thousands of millions of people that are going to have it a lot worse than you. Today, I choose to live in gratitude and be on my own journey. And I love these questions. This was so fun for me to do today. If you guys want to see me do more of this, let me know in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.